Hello and welcome to Japanese craft beer reviews. It's been a while for me, maybe not for you since you're just turning this on right now, but I haven't made a review for a while and I'm going to get back into it. I've got a whole series of beers from a single brewery that I'm going to look at, I think 9 or 10 perhaps. The brewery is called Ise Kadoya, and they are located in Mie Prefecture, which is in central Japan, and it is the kind of an offshoot of a sake brewery, which opened in 1575, so they have been around for a while brewing sake, and they opened as a craft beer brewery in 1997 with some success. It was kind of helmed by I think it still is, by a man named Suzuki, who got a PhD in some form of biology. I don't know exactly which, but he studied yeast, which is of course good for a brewer. And they are located again in Ise City in Mie Prefecture, which is a very famous city. Kind of traditional city, and it's host to the Ise Grand Shrine, one of the most important Shinto shrines in Japan. And they later hired a brewer named Deguchi, who is quite good, and an assistant who used to work at, I'm sorry, no, the assistant left there, that's right, Deguchi was the brewer. And so they have a restaurant there called Byakuda, and their main brewery is now called the Shimono Brewery. They built this new brewery in 2018, and they have restaurants at the Naiku Mai Shrine and Geku Mai Shrine. There are actually two shrines, the inner one and the outer one, and they have a shop at their Byakuda restaurant where you can pick up beers there. They have also a couple of restaurants in Tokyo, one in Shinjuku and one in Yaesu, where you can get a number of taps. Ise Kadoya makes a lot of beers. I think I'm pretty safe in saying that they make more varieties than any other brewer in Japan, craft beer brewer. It's really kind of hard to keep up with them, and many of them, of course, are limited or seasonal beers, one-offs, and they do have kind of a set line, a regular line as well. I have a playlist of Ise Kadoya beers, so you can check that out. Please do variety, and I'll add these beers to that. Now, this is an introduction, of course. If you have, you can skip ahead if you want to see the reviews of the beers. I'm going to look at some of their what we call omiyage beers, souvenir beers, which are sold in and around the Ise Shrine area for tourists, and then some of their newer kind of one-off beers, kind of interesting, unusual beers that they make. Okay, so we're going to begin with one of the beers from Ise Kadoya now. And here is yet another beer from Ise Kadoya. It's called Ise Kadoya Kumano Kodo. It's a brown ale. It's 5% and 30 international bittering units. And this is, again, one of their tourist beer. We call it omiyage beer. They make it for tourist sales in the Mie Prefecture area, especially around the shrine. But the Kumano Kodo refers to the kind of Shinto pilgrimage path that goes throughout the entire Kii Hanto, the Kii Peninsula, which includes part of Mie and Wakayama, and where people will trek from shrine to shrine, kind of make a trip out of it. In Shikoku, there's one that has 88 shrines that people aspire to doing, and in Mie, they have a number of shrines among this Kumano Kodo. Kumano is the old name for the region, and the old Japanese name for that area. And and there are a number of shrines, and if you notice on here, there's a crow with 3 legs, three-legged crow. And you might think it's like something out of Game of Thrones, but it's not. There is a main shrine there, which I visited once, that was full of soccer balls and soccer uniforms, and apparently it's kind of like a tutelary shrine for the J League, Japanese professional soccer league. And so, in any case, this beer has only 2 ratings on RateBeer, and somehow it's listed as a Belgian ale. I don't know why. Belgian dark ale. And I have never rated this one before myself, so we'll see how it goes. Untapped, there are 815 separate ratings at an average of 3.43. So this one is sold only in southern Mie and Wakayama for kind of homage to the Kumano Kodo, the pilgrimage trail, pilgrimage routes, which are actually a World Heritage Site. So you can check that out online, the Kumano Kodo. So let's give this a go. This costs 315 yen. I bought it in Ise near the shrine, the inner shrine, Naiku, and so 315 yen. It's just under $3 perhaps. Okay. Well, doesn't look particularly brown, but I don't think it's Belgian either. This includes barley malt and wheat malt and hops and rice. Okay, it has a nice sweet, kind of caramelly sort of nose. Check the date on this. 2021, okay, well, we're a little past the drink by date for this one. Yeah, caramel, something mildly floral, but that's about it. Yeah, again, sweet, caramelly, kind of flowery. It's basically a very malty kind of beer. I wouldn't call this a brown ale. It's more like a pale ale, perhaps. A rather sweet one to boot. It's not terrible. I mean, the sweetness is not bad. It kind of flows through. The hops hardly make an appearance. Yeah. So I think this, as I say, this is a souvenir beer for tourists in that area, and I assume that many of them might find this quite different from Japanese major beers, things like, you know, Asahi or Kirin, and may not notice that it's really not particularly a well-made beer. In any case, not bad, not great. I don't know, I'd rate this probably a 3-1 maybe. You know, it is beyond, it's just a little bit beyond its drink by date, so that's my fault. But it doesn't seem to be a terribly well put together beer. In any case, it is called Ise Kadoya Kumano Kodo Brown Ale, 5%, 30 international bittering units. Give it a go if you happen to see it, and you probably won't see it unless you go to this part of Japan, which I do recommend very highly. Mie Prefecture and Wakayama. Certainly Wakayama, some of the less traveled places for tourists in Japan, and some of the more beautiful places as well. And go to this shrine if you can. The three-legged crow. So that's it for today, and I hope you're doing well. I have a playlist of Ise Kadoya beers, and I hope you will check those out as well. Subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment. Tell me what your experience is with Japanese beers, or Ise Kadoya beers, or any beers whatsoever. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.